Welcome to First Look Podcast, the podcast where we take a metaphorical first look at the incredible vendors who bring wedding days to life. I'm your host, Kayla, from Kayla Susie Photography, and today I'm chatting with the incredibly talented Stephanie Elmrick of Lettered by Steph. She is a skilled calligrapher who creates stunning hand-lettered details that add a personal and elegant touch to weddings. We will be talking about her journey, why she loves working in the wedding industry, and getting some solid advice for couples looking to incorporate calligraphy into their big day. Let's dive in. Welcome, Stephanie.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm excited to talk with you. I'm excited that you're doing a podcast, and this is so much fun.
No. Well, I've worked with you several times, so I know all about who you are and what you do, but could you introduce yourself to the listeners?
Sure. So my name is Stephanie. I am a calligraphy engraver. I mostly engrave now. I don't do too much calligraphy work as I did back in the day. So I mostly do engraving, which I can do on glass or metal mostly. I can do plastics too, but I do a lot of wedding works like perfumes and wine bottles and stuff like that. So that's what I mostly do is engraving these days.
Engraving. I've worked with you on projects where you've done calligraphy, and I have also taken classes with you.
True.
So could you share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so when I first started doing calligraphy, I knew nothing about engraving. So I did envelopes and I did place cards, I did wedding mirrors, signage, and stuff like that. And then at the same time, I was trying to grow my business at the same time. So I was teaching calligraphy also to make some extra money on the side. Mm-hmm. So calligraphy classes were really fun. I don't teach those anymore. However, I am doing engraving classes virtually. Okay. So I just started that back up. So I'm really excited about that.
Okay, I saw that on your website. Yeah. I would love to take a engraving class with you, but I have taken a calligraphy class with you, and my calligraphy is a mess. So I don't know how good the engraving would go.
Well, calligraphy takes time. You know what I mean? Like, you have to put a lot of practice into it. It is an art. But to join the engraving class, you do have to at least know how to write calligraphy, or at least know the basic strokes. So just in case anyone's listening and wants to join, you do have to know calligraphy. I don't teach that anymore, but I can help resource that for a lot of people. There are many different ways to learn calligraphy now. So if anyone needs help with that, they're more than welcome to email me.
Yeah, and I'm sure that you have recommendations for great YouTubers that teach as well, and I feel like you can learn anything on YouTube if you search enough.
For sure. For sure.
That kind of like leads us into how you got into calligraphy and then engraving.
Okay, well, my story is a little crazy, and when I get asked this question, I feel crazy every time someone asks me like how I got started. To be really honest, I was an accountant before I was a calligrapher, and I was sitting at my cubicle one day and I was scrolling on Instagram and I saw calligraphy on Instagram and I was like, oh my gosh, this looks like so much fun. I want to do this. So that night I went to Hobby Lobby and I bought the supplies. I took it back home and immediately I was addicted. Like, it wasn't good, but I was addicted, and I was like, okay, I know that I want to do something with this. I've always been super artsy. Sitting in a cubicle is not my thing. I knew that wasn't going to last long. I just needed to pay my rent. You know what I mean? Yeah. So at the same time, I was going through a breakup, moving back in with my mom, and I also had my daughter with me, moving back in with my mom. So I had this chance to just start over completely, right? Like, just become someone different. I just wasn't happy with all aspects of my life. So I quit my job 2 weeks later. Thanks. Shout out to my mom for holding me down. But I quit my job 2 weeks later. So I had some friends like in the area, they were getting married, and I was like, hey, let me do your wedding work. I just need content. I don't care if you want to pay me. If you do pay me, cool. If you don't, I don't care. I just want to get my name out there right now. So honestly, that's how I started. I did their weddings. I did their signage. I did their envelopes. I did everything that I could think of for their wedding. And then about 8 months down the road is when I started teaching calligraphy. And that kept me afloat for a good while. And then the pandemic hit, and I was like, oh my God, what do I do? Weddings stopped, everything, the world stopped, right? So I remember scrolling on Instagram again, and I saw somebody engraving, and I was like, I want to learn how to do that. Like, I can do that. I know calligraphy, so I can teach myself that. I taught myself calligraphy, by the way. So I never took a class or anything. I just
Mhm.
YouTubed, Instagrammed, whatever I could do. So during the pandemic, I taught myself engraving, and I was like, this is so much cooler than calligraphy. To me, I was even more passionate about that. So that's what I started doing coming out of the pandemic. Again was telling my friends, hey, you have a wedding, you have a birthday, let me
Mhm.
engrave this, let me do this for you. So a lot of my work has started out with free work for friends
Mhm.
and family so I can get content, but
Yeah.
it's worked. And now I am on my seventh year of business, I'm pretty sure. For the first 2 years, I was super broke. I had no money. I live with my mom. Thank God she took me in and allowed me to, grow my business with her.
Mhm.
So yeah, for a good 2 years, I was pretty broke. You do have to put a lot of work into it.
Mhm.
It is a lot of blood, sweat, and tears have
Yeah.
gone into this. But now where I am, I'm so happy. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't trade it for the world how
Yeah.
I did it. I don't advise anyone to quit your job 2 weeks after learning to do something. That was absolutely crazy, but that's kind of how I am. Like I am 100%. If I'm doing it, I'm doing it. You know what I mean?
I know you are so passionate about it, and like
Yeah.
I enjoy watching you like
Yeah.
engrave, and because I've been at a wedding where you were engraving, and I've been at a styled shoot where you were like hand drawing, like what was it, a long
Oh,
banner
the banner. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that was gorgeous. And you've done like cardstock for me before, and it's
Yes.
just always so beautiful. And you are very passionate. So it does not surprise me that you quit your job after 2 weeks of starting a new hobby.
Yes, yes.
Um,
Crazy.
so a little bit, we're going to dive a little deeper. Why do you like the wedding industry? Like, is there something that draws you to it?
Love, I
Uh-huh.
guess. I hate when people say this, like, I love love, but I do. Who
Mhm.
doesn't? You know what I mean? Weddings are so fun. Everyone normally is
Mhm.
in a great mood. They're like
Mhm.
ready to have fun. Like, it's just, weddings are so fun. It's like a celebration. And like seeing people's faces is so, I don't know. It's so meaningful to me. Like people seeing the work that I've done or the work that
Mhm.
I'm doing at their wedding. You know what I mean? Because sometimes I engrave at the wedding, but
Mhm.
just seeing their faces, having conversations with them. I also am a yapper. I don't know how to hush. So talking to people is really fun to me. Meeting, you never know who you're going to meet at a wedding. You know what I mean? Like who knows who's going to be there. So just weddings are always fun for me,
Mhm.
honestly.
At a wedding, when you are engraving for people, what kind of, I know, but this is for the listeners, what kind
Yeah.
of engravings do you do at weddings?
Okay, so really, okay, lately glasses like champagne glasses, whiskey glasses, wine glasses,
Mhm.
whatever, any kind of glasses have been really popular.
Mhm.
I have seen other weddings though, which I'm trying to get into. This is what I've been growing the past year is getting more into being at the wedding, engraving at the wedding, not just before it. So I've seen other girls will where they've had like liquor bottles
Mhm.
and that's been the guest, what's it called?
Like a gift.
Yeah, so the gift at the end.
Yeah.
So what's fun about engraving is that you can, so it's entertainment.
Hmm.
It's people don't lose their glasses throughout the night if they're glasses. And then third, you can also, that's their takeaway. That's their, what is it called
It's
though?
a like a favor.
A favor. Yeah, a
Yeah.
party favor. You know what I mean? Because everybody, what are you getting like bubbles usually and stuff like that?
Yeah.
You're just going to go throw that away. You don't need to spend money
Yeah.
on that. So it's like all three in one. But I
Mhm.
saw somebody doing liquor bottles and each guest got to take home a liquor bottle.
Oh,
Now, this was a
fun.
massive wedding. Yeah, it was really freaking cool. I saw someone else doing tumblers.
Hmm.
That would be really fun to do at a wedding too. So, like I said earlier, like anything glass or metal, but
Hmm.
what I've mostly done is wine glasses, champagne
Okay.
glasses, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've been at the wedding that I saw you at. You were doing champagne glasses,
Yeah.
and that was really fun. And everyone took them home at the end of the night. And I
Yeah.
think it's a really thoughtful gift too, because a lot of times I see like koozies or like matches and things like that, and it's just like they end up in the trash. And
Lost, yeah.
yeah, they get lost, and I feel like when it has their name on it, that's really special too. So like
Right,
you're getting to give something that's like super meaningful that they'll use again, and
right.
so I think that's really nice. Moving forward in your business, what are you hoping to see more of at weddings?
Of course, engraving.
Mhm.
But like I just mentioned, like more cool, like entertainment, I
Mhm.
guess is what I could say.
Like guest experience?
Do what?
Like a guest experience aspect.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Especially because at weddings, there's always a time when the wedding party goes off and takes
Hmm.
pictures, right? And then everybody's kind of standing around like, do, 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 like, what do we do? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Yeah, it's cocktail hour and you can get a drink, but how cool is it to have entertainment while
Hmm.
you're getting your drinks or while you don't, what's going on and you're just
Hmm.
in limbo waiting on the bride and the groom? I just think it's really fun instead of everyone just sitting there not knowing what to
Yeah.
do.
You also do pre-wedding engraving.
Mhm.
Um, what would that look like for a bride if she's wanting to reach out to you for engraving?
So I can do so much. I don't even know if I can list them all
Hmm.
off, but perfumes with your new last name on it are super popular. Also, giving the groom gifts has been really popular. You can give him a liquor bottle, put his name, like I love you
Hmm.
or whatever. Flasks are
Hmm.
a good option. Cologne is a great option. I do a lot of knives or cake server sets. So the
Hmm.
knife and the cake server I can engrave
Yeah.
on there. Those are a good keepsake because everybody usually keeps that from their wedding. So those are really cool to engrave. Oh my gosh, bridesmaids, compact mirrors have gone insane. Oh, and
Hmm.
combs. I don't know if you saw the marble combs that I did.
No, I need to go and look at that.
You do. It's gone absolutely viral on TikTok and Instagram. I cannot keep up with it, but those are really popular. I can do all kinds of bridesmaids things. You know how people usually do a bridesmaids box and they want to
Yeah.
stick some stuff in there, whatever. So a lot of stuff like that, and it's super easy. Most of the time, you just email me. I also have a website. You can fill out an
Hmm.
inquiry form, but you can just email me if you want to. Tell me what you want. I just need to know how many of whatever it is, exactly what you want engraved on there. That way,
Hmm.
I can give you a quote. So it's pretty easy.
That is. I have also reached out to you for gifts for my couples.
Yes.
You do ornaments, which I think is just
Yeah.
the most precious. Like, I
Yes.
love Christmas, so
I do too. I do too.
you also do those. Okay, we're down to our last question. What is one piece of advice you can do it for planning or for the wedding day for a couple?
What's my piece of advice?
Yes, what's your piece of advice?
I'm always going to say this, even though it has nothing to do with my business. Hire the photographer and hire that videographer. I think that is the most important thing in the day. If I ever get married, that is where I will spend probably most of my money. So I grew up, my dad was a photographer, so I just grew up knowing like how important it is to capture the memories. So
Hmm.
to me, that would be the most important part of my day. You know what I mean? Because the bride and the groom are usually way too busy to even
Hmm.
to soak in what's going on.
Yeah.
So that's my advice is hire the photographer and hire the videographer for
I
sure.
love- Oh, that makes me happy.
Yeah.
I'm constantly trying to explain the importance of like having a really good photographer,
Yeah.
videographer, and also really popular now is content creation. It's also a great option if you're wanting
Right.
all the details captured. But like hiring someone you really like because you're with them all
Mhm.
day and someone you trust with your photos. So I appreciate you giving that
Yes.
piece of advice. Where can people find you?
Ooh, okay. So on TikTok and Instagram, I am at lettered by Steph. I'm sure you can put this in a caption below somewhere.
Mhm.
And then I also have a website, which is www.letteredbysteph.com. So
Mhm.
everything is just lettered by Steph.
Okay.
Facebook too, actually. But I
Mhm.
don't use Facebook that much, so don't search me on there.
Well, I will say your Instagram and TikTok are super fun.
Yeah.
So definitely go and follow Steph and enjoy watching it because you're also just like so funny and so real about like, y'all, I totally messed this up and
Yeah.
like watch me be ridiculous while
Yeah.
I am just being myself and making mistakes and learning from them. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to thank you so much for coming on today. And I
Yeah.
hope all of the listeners learned something new, a new fun thing that they can include in their wedding, a great guest experience. Thank you for listening, everyone. And I hope you have a very blessed day.